Hey guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. Today we will see what if Tora the cat likes Naruto. If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments. I am known by many names, you might have heard about them. The demon cat, the destroyer of genin, the regal beauty, the magnificent Tora, the most beautiful being in the world, and my favorite and forgotten title, the 10-tailed Tora. Yes, I once had 10 tails. I was the most magnificent cat ever to be seen in the world. In fact, I ruled the world in ancient history. This was the time when cats ruled over humans and they were our pets, not the other way around. A long time ago this world was my kingdom and I was the generous ruler and cat that governed over all. The lands were split into pieces for my enjoyment and humans had to do my bidding and fulfill their roles. The desert in the land of wind, my litter box. The large spires in the land of lightning, my scratching posts. The forests in the land of fire, my personal playground, and many more. It was a wonderful time where everybody enjoyed themselves. There was no war and I even gave my pets beautiful collars to show my appreciation. But one day that all changed, you see, as the world was mine to control. That also meant that everything in it was my property. But some didn't agree to this. One instance was the case with the millennial fish, a great feast that only appeared once in 1,000 years. Some filthy humans tried to steal my property, but it was for naught. My favorite pet, also known as the Sage of 6 Nayas, had taken the fish and gave it to me as an offering. I graciously accepted this and began eating my well-deserved feast, not realizing that this pet had become a traitor. He put a seal on the fish, and when I had devoured it and began licking my paws in satisfaction, I began to shrink. The magnificent and all-powerful, I began to lose my powers. I turned into a much smaller version of myself and was forced to look on as all my power was split into 9 pieces, also known as the 9-tailed cats. The traitor gave me a collar that would forever bind me to this form and presented me to the land of fire's daimyo, one of my former pets. The pet didn't recognize me in this form and gave me to his wife, and since then I have forever been in that family, passed down from wife to wife as some sort of prize. I have to admit, I am a great prize. But them doing so without my permission was not to my liking. I've lived for centuries in this tiny, almost powerless form in immortality, cursed to never die and be used as a plaything. Over the course of this life I began to accept my terrible and unjust fate. I made the village of Konoha my playground once again and graced them with my presence. Whenever my new owner would stop hugging me with those bone-crunching shows of affection, I ran away to my playground and sneaked through the streets. Fish went missing left and right and I purred in satisfaction. That was until some brats which I used as playthings went after me. Apparently catching me had become a sort of mission given to young children, and believe me when I say this, but I took my sweet time in tormenting them. The humans didn't know that I was still able to use a small amount of my former power. They call it chakra nowadays. With this I clung to walls and hid in shadows. The brats didn't stand a chance. Every now and then they caught me when I graciously let them as the village clock signaled it was nearing dinner time. I was then taken back to my owner for my well-deserved feast, and the next day it would start all over again. Yes, a feast. My owner had one thing going for her, and that was the desire to give me the finest foods. If not for that, then I would never go back here. A few years later an event happened that I thought would change my life forever. The 9-tailed cat attacked Konoha when it noticed signs of me. Sadly, it was repelled and disappeared, but I knew the 9-tailed cats were not lost to the world yet. Years passed and I kept going to Konoha as a playground and hoped one of my pieces of power would appear again. During one of the days I went to my playground, something happened. I was chased by the brats yet again, but this time I ran into an unfamiliar alley and lost them in the process. What I saw there was something I did not expect. Flashback. I ran into the alley with all the speed I could muster and hid in the shadows of a dumpster. A minute went by in silence as I lost the brats that chased me. The silence was soon broken as I heard sniffling come from behind me. I looked for the source and there I saw it, a little blonde girl crying in a corner with a rag to cover herself. I became curious and walked up to her. She and her scent seemed familiar. Meow? The girl lifted her head and it struck. I saw what caused the familiar feeling. The little girl had 2 small cat ears on top of her head and 6 orange whiskers on her cheeks. I knew why she seemed so familiar. She had a part of my power inside of her, the 9-tailed cat to be precise. She had sky blue eyes and spiky blonde hair. I had to admit, she was extremely cute even for my standards. Walking up to her, I continued gently meowing and hoped that it would calm her down. Kitty? The girl went on her knees and wiped away her tears. Only now did I notice how extremely dirty and ragged she looked. The little clothes she wore were torn, dirt covered her entire body, and she was malnourished. It pained me to see a girl like her in such conditions. She held out her little hand and eagerly looked at me, hoping that I would grace her with my affection. I did. How could I resist one like her? She began to pet me with her hands and giggled, "So soft, you're so pretty, kitty." She seemed to appreciate the beauty that was me, and I gave her a tiny lick on the face to show my appreciation. Tora? She saw my collar and the name writing on top of it, Tora-chan? Meow. She sat down and continued to stroke my fur. I eventually got up to her lap and we sat there in bliss for almost an hour, just the two of us in silence. I heard the sounds of the brats nearing our location and gave the girl a final look before I got off her lap. Meow. You have to go, Tora-chan? She seemed saddened and I even saw a lonely expression began to surface. One final lick to her hand and she seemed to understand my answer. You're coming back? Meow. Then I'll see you later, Dateba Nia. Goodbye, Tora-chan. Dateba Nia? Cute. I decided to come look for her every time I went to my playground. She was my new favorite human. Flashback end. Over the course of the years I got to know the girl better and even found out her name. She was often called the Demon Brat, but sometimes her name would be called as well. It was Naruto. I also found out which power she held. You see, it is not just the tailed cat that was inside of her but also a part of my personality and power. Hers was the gift of luck and beauty. The personality trait that she'd gotten was my determination and will to have fun. I began thinking about my other powers and could already think of some that must have been given to the others. The power of my litter box, which is moving sand. The power of roasting fish, which is blue flames, and some others that were still questionable. Only time would tell if I would ever see them again. But the power of luck was by far the strongest. It would cause strikes that were fatal to miss, or she would find money on the ground, and by far her biggest stroke of luck was meeting the Ichiraku. The only place in Konoha that would give her food and even provided it free of charge, saying that a girl needed to grow strong. Oh wait, I forgot. Her greatest moment of luck was of course meeting me. During the years there was one more thing that changed in Naruto. It seemed that her powers grew stronger with age. When she turned 5 years old she had gotten a small orange tail. It was the cutest thing ever. Today was one of the common days where I would spend most of my time with Naruto. She was no longer malnourished and ragged, or at least less. The cats that lived in the village also noticed her existence and began bringing her food and clothes that were found lying around. Little Naruto had grown to be the cat lady of the village and she loved it. They cuddled her and there was always at least one cat sitting either on her lap or wanting her attention, but I was still her favorite, Tora-chan. Whenever she saw me the other cats would part ways and give me the room I deserved. Tora-chan. Naruto noticed me and ran towards me for a hug. In my gracious mood I let her and licked her face as a show of affection. I left some fish for you, Tora-chan. Do you want some fish? Meow. Damn you humans for taking away my speech. For now I can only answer with a simple meow. I wish I could speak with this girl but sadly I can't. Naruto picked me up and held me to her chest as I purred in delight. I will never tire of this girl, and especially her smell is intoxicating. She smells like my old glorious self and I can almost taste the raw power that saturates the air around her. I spent my time eating fish, lying in her lap and playing with her as she giggled and laughed. It was nice, but over the years I've noticed that spending too much time with her could cause trouble. The genin that had to catch me would find Naruto and claim she either stole me or is torturing me. Therefore I stayed until the cats gave the signal for me to leave. I gave Naruto one final lick on the face and jumped from her lap. See you tomorrow, Tora-chan. Meow. As I was walking away I noticed something on top of the roofs. A man had spotted me leaving Naruto's alley and grinned wickedly. I shuddered to think what would happen, as this was apparently one of the shinobi that hated Naruto and was out to get her numerous times before. The man jumped from the roof. Finally found you, cat, and you filthy demon. Have you been torturing her again? The man caught me and threw me in the air as 3 brats with a similar grin caught me. The man proceeded to beat up poor Naruto until she was whimpering from the pain and begging for it to stop. "Says you fucking demon. I should just kill you." But the Hokage would find out. He suddenly grinned as an idea came up in his mind. "But, the daimyo would be fine with killing you if I tell him that you've been torturing Tora." Brats. Sensei. Take out a kunai and injure the cat. But don't kill her at any cost. Make her bleed. They looked at me with murder in their eyes, gladly. Finally, you fucking cat, it's time for payback. I screamed and tried to scratch them as they cut my beautiful fur up and even grinded me through the dirt a couple of times. Good work, brats, take the cat, we're going to the daimyo. An hour later we arrived at the palace. The guards parted as they saw me in tatters and fear could be seen in their eyes. Not long after we were led into the daimyo's throne room and the brutal man that assaulted Naruto gently grabbed me and held me out to the daimyo as he went on his knees. My lord, I found your wife's cat Tora as she was brutally being tortured by the demon brat over there. I punished her and took her to you for your judgment. Tora, my precious Tora-chan. The daimyo's wife saw me with tears in her eyes and ran as fast as her fat ass could take her. She took me into her arms and held me with a bone-crunching hug. If it wasn't for my immortality, then I would have died 1,000,000 times over while in her care. I heard Naruto whimper in pain and crying on the ground. I struggled out of the embrace of death and ran up to Naruto, licking her face and brushing up against her. The daimyo gave the four that brought us a questionable look. So, you claim that she tortured Tora? Then tell me, why does my wife's cat run up and show affection to the one that apparently tortured her? My lord, the demon has tricked the cat and used her demon magic. The daimyo looked on as his wife walked up to Naruto with curiosity in her eyes. She made some circles around her and I saw stars appear in her eyes. The girl's got a tail and cat ears. Honey, I want her. You what? I want her. And I also want whoever did this to her and Tora-chan executed. The group of four began sweating profusely and fear was seen on their faces. My dear wife, are you sure about this? I am. Tora has never shown affection to anybody quite like this. The girl didn't harm Tora-chan, they did. His wife pointed towards the shinobi of Konoha. I am well aware of the fact that the girl didn't harm Tora, but why do you want to take her in? She's a cat girl. Look at her, she's magnificent, only second to my Tora-chan. I thought my owner was a stupid fat broad, but it seems I was wrong. She instantly noticed that Naruto didn't torture me. She knew it was the four that hurt me, but most of all, she knows I'm magnificent second to none. Very well, but you must leave the decision to the girl. Guards, take the criminals and execute them, then give the Hokage a report on what transpired. Hi my lord. No, you can't do this. It was the demon, she did it. A clean stroke from a sword and his head fell to the ground. Don't lie to my lord, it's obvious it wasn't the girl. Wow, nicely done, I'm liking this place more and more. It seems I was really wrong about everybody being an idiot. I walked up to my owner and decided to show her a little bit of appreciation for her efforts. She picked me up in a questionable hug and for the first time ever I licked her face. Tora-chan, you licked me. You want me to take in the girl, don't you? Meow. It's settled, guards take her to my guest room and have her treated. As of now she is my guest. Honey, inform the Hokage that the girl is with me. Yes dear. It was all too obvious who was the one in power in this relationship. Just like any other relationship, the woman was the one in command. They sometimes allow their husbands to think they're actually in control, but everybody knows it isn't true. I saw two guards gently pick up Naruto and we walked through the corridors towards her new glamorous room. They lay Naruto on the bed. Madam, I will get our best medics. Only 15 minutes later and Naruto was fully healed, but she was still frightened from the experience and clung onto the blanket hoping that it would protect her. Naruto-chan, I'm not going to hurt you. My name is Shijimi and you're safe here. My fat owner sat down in a chair next to her and gently smiled. You're not? The experiences Naruto had with other humans were often awful. Sometimes they acted nice just to betray her the next second and beat her up. Other times they straight up just beat her up for fun. Therefore she had grown wary of other humans, even ones that seemingly meant well. The fat broad obviously noticed this and waited for Naruto to calm down. I'm not Naruto-chan, don't worry. Guards, leave me. Hi madam. See, my two scary guards are leaving, don't be afraid. I saw Naruto lift her head from the blanket a bit more and she still looked doubtful but had given an opening. Scary men, gone? I jumped up to Naruto's bed to calm her down further and licked her face. Tora-chan. She hugged me and began sobbing. I thought they hurt you. My Tora-chan seems to like you. Your Tora-chan? She's your kitty? She is. It seems you appreciate her beauty, Naruto-chan, but you are almost just as beautiful as Tora-chan. Naruto flustered and blushed. I'm not. I'm nobody. You're not a nobody, Naruko-chan, you're you. Naruko, you're alone, aren't you? Naruko saddened and nodded her head. Then, do you want to live with me? Where nobody will ever hurt you. I can give you this room and you will have a family. Family? Nobody will hurt me? I saw that my owner seemed to slowly convince Naruko and appreciated what she did. It seemed that my owner wasn't the person I thought she was. Apparently she's kind and gentle to those that deserve it, but doesn't show it to many. I wouldn't mind sharing Naruko with her if it meant that the girl was safe. Meow. And you will have Tora-chan with you wherever you go, would you like that? Naruko looked at me with determination in her eyes. Tora-chan, do you want me to stay? Meow. Kami, yes I would. Then I will. This was the biggest stroke of luck that Naruko had ever had. The beating she received may have looked unlucky, but the resulting event was nothing but the opposite. She had gotten a home and maybe even a family. The constant pain and suffering she received stopped from this day forward. 1 year later, Daimyo's palace. I was watching over Naruko as she ran through the palace corridors with me in her arms. Over the last year she had grown close with both the daimyo and his wife, and the latter even called her a daughter on occasion. Naruko used the palace as her playground, especially the many gardens and courtyards were often visited, and she was never able to sit still. This caused me to never go to my previous playground. I had no more reason to visit it as my favorite human was right here with me. Naruko-chan, come over here, I have some news. Hi. We went up to my owner and saw her seated in a garden chair with a large assortment of treats lying on the table. Meow. Naruko got the hint and sat down, took some of my favorite treats and put them in front of me. Naruko-chan, you said you wanted to become a ninja? I do date ba nia, they're so cool. The little girl had always wanted to become one and told me many times, but never had the chance. Nobody would take her seriously or help her in any way, until now. My owner already knew this over the year she stayed here, but told her that if she still wanted to become one after a whole year, she would help her become one. So you're still hanging on to that? Fine, I told you I would help, and so I shall. The woman snapped her fingers and behind her appeared 3 men and 1 woman. These are 4 of our ninja guardians, Naruko, meet Sato, Asuma, 2 and Chiriku. The 4 put their hands together in front of them and slightly bowed. We greet the young lady. Naruko gave a cute smile back. Hi. I'm Naruko. You might have seen them before, they are the ones that guard our family together with a few others. Our guardians have agreed to train you in their spare time, however they have some requirements. Chiriku tell her of the requirements. Hi madam. Naruko-san, my name is Chiriku. As stated, we will provide you with training if you meet our requirements. Requirement 1. You will train under our supervision without any complaints. You will do as we say when we say without question. Requirement 2. You train to the best of your abilities every single day, and the last requirement. You will let to pet your tail. Hey wait just a minute, nobody pets my human. How dare she come with that requirement? That's blackmail. Meow, meow, meow. Damn this seal. I have to stop her or it's too late. You want me to accept Tora-chan? Meow. Naruko looked at me questionable and I hoped she understood my message, but I failed in my task. Okay, I accept. I looked on in horror as the woman of the group flashed from her position and appeared behind my human. Naruko purred with glee and I knew what was wrong. So soft, this tail, it's perfection. Don't you dare touch my human. I jumped out of Naruko's arm and tried to scratch the one that dared transgress on my property. Tora-chan, what's wrong? I thought you liked me. I did. The human always gave me treats and the attention that I deserved, but this went too far. I hissed at her and she finally backed off from my property. Naruko was safe. My owner laughed at the exchange. Tora-chan doesn't like it when somebody touches Naruko-chan, so watch out. Sorry to san. The woman stood up and smiled. Don't worry, it was worth it. But don't call me that, you make me sound like I'm your father. Then what? Just 2, plain and simple 2 is fine. The bald monk walked up to us with the ever-serious expression on his face. I have never seen that man smile in all the years I've seen him, now that I think of it. We expect great things of you, Naruko-san. Remember your promise and you will become a fine shinobi soon. I will take my leave. We will begin training in 2 days at 8 in the morning. He walked away from us and the others went with him. I saw the woman too look back at Naruko a few times with stars in her eyes. That woman is dangerous. So Naruko-chan, that's settled. Take your training seriously and maybe you will even become one of our guards later on. But now, I will take my leave. I'll see you two at dinner. Naruto picked me up and skipped in circles. I'm going to become a ninja date bania. I couldn't help but purr in her arms and lick her face. This was what my human wanted and I would accept her decision. But that doesn't mean I will let her out of my sight. If anything, I would keep my eyes on her even more. Meow. Thank you, Tora-chan. Shall we play some more? I was walking through my old playground together with my favorite pet human Naruto, who is now 10 years old. The years went by quick and my human trained a lot to become the best ninja there ever was. I spent the days watching her while eating snacks and I had to say it was exhausting. Every day just watching her jump up and down, left and right, it tired me out. So I took my human on my well-deserved day off. She held me against her chest and stroked my precious fur as we were walking through the streets. Most of the people just ignored us or looked at my human with contempt. The vicious rumors and insults that were whispered behind her back had ceased as nobody would dare insult the daimyo's family. Yes, she was now officially part of the family. She was a surrogate daughter and they treated her as such. We went towards the park where I used to spend my precious time and a most wonderful aroma reached us. I fell to the ground and with the utmost grace as I wondered where my pet human disappeared to in a puff of smoke. Chomp, my hand. I looked at the source and saw Naruto had her whole mouth wrapped around a girl's hand with the satisfied expression of a cat on her face. The girl turned bright red and tried waving the hand up and down, but my human was reluctant to let go in the bliss she was experiencing. Wish cook WIOWMNWOM. Ah, her weakness, the girl held a fish cookie. How dare this girl trick my pet into submission? I ran up to them and prepared my claw of righteous punishment only for the girl to have stars in her eyes. Kitty. She ignored Naruto that was still chomped to her hand and got on her knees while holding another fish cookie towards me. You're not going to trick me that easily, you human. Chomp, eek my hands. Naruto now had 2 hands stuck in her mouth and I was honestly wondering how she could fit the both of them inside her tiny mouth. Obviously the laws of physics don't apply to fish cookies. The girl fainted and lay on the ground with steam coming out of her ears. You deserved that, human, for tricking my pet. I went up to Naruto and gently licked her face in hope that it would return her to her sanity. This day off was not going to be ruined just yet. Toa Siwon? It worked. She regained her sanity and left 2 drool-covered hands behind her. Oops. I smelled fish cookies and suddenly I found myself in bliss. Who's the girl? And why is she passed out? Naruto tilted her head in confusion and I just sighed. This always happens when her addiction comes into play. It's like catnip for her. Meow. Not wanting to spend more time with the sorry excuse of a girl, I walked away with my head stuck high. Tora-chan. Wait for me. Just as predicted, my pet followed me and soon we went back to on trip. Only a few minutes later an asterisk grumble growl. Tora-chan. I'm hungry. You're always hungry. Meow. Fine. I'll take some time of my busy schedule and get us some food. Onward to the only place in Konoha that is worthy of my presence. Welcome to Ichiraku's. Ah, Naruto-chan. Tora-chan. It's been far too long. Indeed, this godly establishment has the finest cuisine worthy of my refined palate. Their fish ramen was divine, but their Tora special. Now that was food worthy of the gods. Tucci-san, can we have some ramen? Naruto shyly asked. He laughed and smiled as he stroked my fur. This was one of the humans that was worthy of stroking my fur and I always offered him one chance to do so as payment for our meals. Anything for the 2 of you. 2 Tora and Naruto specials coming up. Ayame-chan, prepare the special broth. Hi Tu-san. A godly fish smell started coming from the kitchen and the 2 of us couldn't help but drool. It may not have been the most sophisticated sight, but this ramen was worth it. We ate our fill and went our way as we noticed a group of children Naruto's age standing near a building in the distance. My pet looked at this with a slightly saddened face and expression of longing. I could tell what was wrong. Even if she loved my presence, she still desired interaction with others her age. Let's go, Tora-chan, it's time to go back home. What? She didn't want to go towards them? Meow, meow. I saw as her tail and ears hung flat, which signaled that she was extremely sad. Meowing at her wouldn't cheer her up. The only thing I could do was cuddle and lick her. Back at home, we were eating dinner with the daimyo and his wife, or better said Naruto's new parents. I noticed she was just pricking her food with the fork and still had a gloomy air around her. Meow. Naruko-chan, what's wrong? Thanks fatty, I appreciate the help. Maybe I'll even let you hug me as a reward. Maybe. Naruko-chan. Naruko-chan. Sorry Ka-san, it's just. I saw some kids my age having fun together and. Her head slumped down even more. You wanted to have fun with them, didn't you? Naruko-chan, you don't have to be sad, in fact. We were about to tell you something that might cheer you up. Her head shot up and she looked at them in expectation. Really? The two nodded towards their daughter. Your tutors say that you've grown strong but that you need to work together with others your age, so we've been thinking. You need to have at least 1 year of academy experience in order to be put in teams. So, how about you stay with us 1 more year and then we put you in the academy when you turn 11? Really? Thank you, thank you, thank you. She jumped up from her chair and skipped in circles before she ran up to me and gave a bone-crunching hug as she continued in her moment of excitement. I didn't mind such a hug this time, but only because it was from Naruko. No need to thank us Naruko-chan, you've made the both of us proud. Now let's continue our dinner. I'm going to go to school Date Bania. The next day. Good morning Chiriku-sensei. Naruko ran up to her sensei of the day as I sat on top of her head, one of my 3 favorite spots, the others of course being her chest and lap. Good morning Naruko-san. She pouted, why do you still call me that? You're so stiff? It is my duty as your tutor to train you, as it is my job I have no time for informalities. Are you ready for the morning spar? Another person came walking our way and I sighed in annoyance. This one was the most dangerous out of all her tutors. This one continuously tried to steal me pet. Naruko-chan. My trustworthy pet dodged to the side as the menace jumped towards her tail. Sorry to sensei but Tora-chan doesn't like it when others touch my tail. I was so close, damn this. I will pet it again one day. 2 was on her hands and knees on the ground as a gloomy expression hung around her, just like she deserves. Take that you thief, nobody touches my Naruko-chan without permission. 2. Why are you interrupting our morning session? Your duty is tomorrow. It is improper behavior to barge in like this unannounced. You tell her Baldy. I liked this one though, even if he wasn't a beauty to behold like as he never dared touch Naruko without my permission, the Baldy at least knew his place. But I missed Naruko-chan, she's so adorable. Damn right she is. The Baldy pointed to the sidelines and his expression grew even more stern. Sit over there too and don't interrupt us any further or I will tell our lord. Okay, I was so close. Naruko, it is time for the spar. Is Tora-san going to be included this time or will she watch? My pet went on her knees and put out her 2 hands in front of her. What do you think Tora-chan? I jumped down from her head and thought about it. Although the feeling of working together with my pet is nice, it is still unladylike to do when unnecessary. I put my paw on Naruko's left palm. No? Okay Tora-chan. I walked away to the sidelines but sat down a fair distance away from the menace just to be sure she wouldn't try anything. Naruko's eyes became slightly red with a slit down the middle, her nails elongated and turned into cat claws. The ears and tail grew slightly and became a bit hairier. It made her look even more like a cat than she already did and it was a beauty to behold. Flashback. Naruko woke up one morning as I was sleeping on her stomach and I could tell she had a strange dream by the way she looked. Tora-chan, I dreamed really weird. Meow? She began stroking my fur. I woke up in some kind of sewer and saw a really pretty cat sleeping in a cage. It looked so sad. Then I woke up and I felt sad myself. She wiped away something she felt on her face and it turned out to be a tear. I had a hunch as to what she saw but had no way of telling her what it was. Over the next few weeks she kept having the same dream every night and I could see bags forming under her eyes from the lack of sleep. Each time she told me that she could come nearer to the cage but that the cat was just sleeping there. During the last dream she saw something special about the cat. It had 9 tails. I already knew what it was but this confirmed it. The final dream though, that turned out to be special. I suddenly woke up as an extremely familiar feeling rushed over me and saw a red glow coming from my Naruko-chan. I didn't grow worried though, I just had to watch over her until she woke up. Naruko Mindscape. Naruko found herself in the same dream as usual and tried walking up to the pretty cat. The 9 magnificent orange tails swayed around it as she just stared at them with stars in her eyes. Pretty, she totally ignored the sewer around her. So my jailer has finally dead, to, damn you're cute. Naruko stumbled and fell on her butt. You're awake. The cat huffed at her from behind the bars and a warm stream of air tickled her as she began giggling. So, girl, you're my new jailer? Naruto tilted her head. Jailer? You don't know, do you? Damn, she's cute. I should hate her for holding me here, but this is just unfair. Just look at her. She's like a tiny kitten. Naruto cutely shook her head in confusion. She honestly thought this was just a dream with a pretty cat that was behind bars. Why was it behind bars? Kitty, why are you behind bars? Kitty? I'm 10 meters tall and she's calling me a kitty? Okay, girl, stop being so darn cute. And did you never notice the strange marks on your stomach? My kitty birthmark? She's far too innocent, but I don't mind that. Better than a hyperactive blonde idiot that would shout to everybody. Girl, that's not a birthmark, and this isn't a dream. That thing on your stomach is a seal. Tell me, girl, what happened on October 10th? October 10th? She began thinking and a light bulb flashed over her head. I know. The nine-tailed cat, it attacked Konoha. Kitty, you have 9 tails? Go on, and when were you born? Beer, 10th? Kitty, are you a bad kitty? I'm not. I'll tell you what happened that day. One day I felt a familiar feeling coming from Konoha and I went to see what it was. I didn't mean to attack the village at all and showed no sign of aggression. However, your village didn't see it like that and attacked me instead. They forced me to defend myself and as a result parts of Konoha got destroyed. Then it happened, your third Hokage jumped in front of me and sealed me away inside of a small baby. That baby was me? The nine-tailed cat nodded. I'm sorry for what happened, girl, it was not my intention. I just wanted to see where the feeling came from. You're the one that gave me these ears and tail? I did? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You don't mind? I love them. They do look cute on you. Girl, what's your name? Naruto. What's your name, kitty? She beamed and ran to the cage looking up to the 10-meter-tall, cute cat. My name, it's been a while since somebody asked me that, but why not? I'm going to be stuck with her for a while and in all honesty, I like her. Kuranya, my name is Kuranya the nine-tailed cat. Nice to meet you. Are we friends? She shyly held her head down with a blush. Friends? Why, yeah, I don't have any friends except for Tora-chan. Do you want to be my friend? Poor kid. Having me inside her must have made her an outcast. Sure, Naruto-chan, but it's time for you to go to sleep. How about we continue some other time? Okay. Good night, Kuranya. Good night, Naruto-chan. See you later. Mindscape end. My pet Naruto calmed down and went back to sleep as the red glow receded. I knew the two had talked to each other and smiled before I went to sleep myself. Over the course of the years she talked with Kuranya almost every night. They grew close and Kuranya even let her use some of his powers. At the start she was only able to use a tiny bit of it, but this amount grew as she trained and used it more often. It also changed her features as she used it and became more cat-like as a result. Flashback end. Nya let's go. She jumped at Chiriku and slashed her claws. 2 red claw marks shot towards him and the Baldy sidestepped them. Naruto didn't stop her assault and twisted her path to continue. Paw 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 paw. That was one of the quirks she'd gotten every time she attacked in this cat mode. She would call out the attacks in excitement. They've told her numerous times to stop, but so far it wasn't successful. You'll have to do better than that, Naruto-san. Even if the man made it look like she was mediocre at best, this wasn't the case. Naruto was extremely fast in this mode and was even able to produce several afterimages with her speed alone. It was just that her sensei was in a league of his own. Stay still, Databanya. Shadow Clone Jutsu. 2 clones with an identical appearance appeared next to her and the 3 of them jumped at their sensei from both the front and his sides. Her sensei disappeared from sight as she tried to connect the strikes. She stood there with a grin on her face. Suddenly her tail stood up straight. She turned around to hit the open air and her claw got caught with a hand. Oh? You found me? I felt you coming, sensei. Her claw was still being held and she grinned. Raiden, electric current. Paw paw paw. The other 2 clones kept slashing at him as he nimbly tried to dodge, but the slashes were getting closer each time. He tried letting go, but Naruto dug her claws into his skin and swiped her other one at his chest. Buddha's protection. A bubble of chakra shot out from his body and Naruto was forced to let go and retreat. No fair, sensei. The Baldy looked at his bleeding hand and smiled but said nothing. Instead he initiated the assault. Asura's Wrath. 100 Fists. 100 glowing black hands appeared around him and Naruto was forced to defend from all the incoming strikes. Pop 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 paw welcoming approach. 30 paws, or 90 claws cancelled the incoming fists and I could only look in amazement at the way my pet was able to block each and every attack coming her way. The final 100th fist was blocked and she had 2 more left. Paw. But Chiriku hadn't counted, a sudden kick in between his legs and he slumped to his knees with hands holding his jewels. Tears streamed from his face and he could only weakly whimper, You said paw? Naruto grinned. Deception date bania. After which she jumped up and down screaming that she won. A well-deserved victory if I might say so myself. 2 was on the ground laughing. She got you good baldy gahahaha. And I have to admit that I had to suppress a laugh as well. Okay, I may have failed that lightly, a lot. Chiriku slowly got up and you could still see his knees slightly facing towards each other indicating that he was not fine by any means. The pitch in his voice higher than usual as well. You did well Naruto-san, but that last move was not honorable. She tilted her head, but, you said ninja don't fight fair? She used your own words against you Gaha, you got owned by a little girl. How does that feel baldy? I'm not bald, I just have very little hair. Naruto-san, how were you able to find me like you did? She twirled her tail and held it up to him. This. Isn't it cool? I can sense stuff with it now. So your tail is sensitive to chakra? I dunno, this started yesterday. It's pretty neat date bania. Then let's find out the extent of your sensing abilities, too you can assist us. Let's play hide and seek. Is he serious? He wants to play a kid's game? I'm in. Meow meow. You want to join in the game Tora-chan? She held out her paws again and I ran up to strike the right one. Yes? Okay, let's play Chiriku-sensei. We are going to use the entire palace. Your task is to find us and all your other sensei before afternoon. Okay. My pet was grinning and appeared really pumped for the game of hide and seek. She always liked playing games and of course I always complied because I'm so generous. Not because I secretly enjoyed them though, not at all. Close your eyes for 1 minute. Hi 1, 2, 3. I ran away at top speed and climbed up the wall. He said the whole palace, so why not on top of it? I hid in the shade of a tower and took a little nap. Some nice dreams about fish, tricking pathetic dogs and divine ramen later and I was rudely awoken for some reason. Found you Tora-chan. Oh yeah, hide and seek, meow? About an hour, you were sneaky Tora-chan. I already got to sensei and Asuma-sensei. You want to come with me for the rest? Duh, meow. I jumped up her head and settled down for the ride. Wonder how long she still has. Meow? A little less than 2 hours. Let's go. We ran off and I saw her tail moving left and right before it suddenly stopped and stood up straight, over there. We turned left and stopped at our room. Meow? Someone's in here. She opened the door and we went inside. I sniffed the air and indeed noticed a familiar scent, but where? Got you date bania. She looked under the bed and the usually very serious Sato came from underneath. Sato-sensei? You got me Naruto-san, well done. I heard you were playing a game of hide and seek and decided to join in. Meow. You're right Tora-chan, there's someone else here as well. We opened the closet and saw nothing even behind all the clothes, under the blanket, still nothing, only one place left? In the nightstand? But that's so small. I jumped from her head and opened the little door, and there he was. My victim, Naruto-chan, I'm stuck. Help me out. Slowly preparing my claws I grinned at one of her sensei. Tora-chan, what are you doing? No, don't. Too late. Revenge is sweet. I clawed his face as he was totally stuck and the sweet sounds of his screaming was like fish to my tongue. How dare he step on my perfect tail and mess up my hairs 3.5 months ago. Sorry Nama-sensei, but Tora-chan seems to want some payback. For what? You don't remember? You stepped on her tail. Do you have any idea how much that hurts date bania? Tora-chan, sick, Gladly. I continued my revenge and soon his whole face was a mess as he struggled to get out of the tiny space. Baldy opened the door in panic from all the screaming. Found you Chiriku-sensei. I thought something serious was going on but it's only Nama. This doesn't count Naruto-san. She pouted and stomped her foot. It does. It's not my fault you were hiding in the boys' locker room. I'm not going in there. You knew? Of course I did. You smell like head polish. How can I miss that smell? Ooh, so that's the unusual smell I get from him. He always smelled waxy. Wait, we can't stay here. They're stalling. Meow, meow. You're right Tora-chan, they're stalling. I will never get how you can tell what Tora is saying, but you are correct, you have 1 hour left. You're all mean. Tora-chan jump on my head, we're going. I jumped on her head but totally not because she told me to and we went to finish our massive undertaking. Only 50 minutes later and with plenty of time to spare we finished and stood before the Baldy again. Good job Naruko-san. Meow. Good job you too, better. We've found out that you're a natural tracker next to a taijutsu prodigy and will adjust our future training on that. But for today your training with me is over. Hi, Cookie? She sweetly blinked her eyes at him with her hands behind her back and the Baldy sighed. He threw 2 fish cookies at us. Naruko jumped in the air as she caught hers and purred on the ground in satisfaction. This was the usual reward for a job well done and Naruko always acted like that so we've gotten used to it. What's problematic is when she sees those in the real life. One moment she can be underneath you and the next you fall to the ground. Just 1 more year of peace and quiet left before I would be stuck around snot-nosed brats that can't appreciate our beauty and I would make the most out of it. Naruko-san, we only have 2 months of training left before you start the academy year. We will still be training during your period of schooling but in a far less quantity. Only 2 more months date bania. Not that I don't like your training sensei. I just. Baldy nodded his head, I understand, you want to meet others your age. Only 2 more months until I was going to the bratty school with my pet human and I didn't look forward to it but for Naruko I would do almost anything. We've had a few breaks here and there in which we mostly played games like catch, hide and seek and my personal favorite, torture the thieving sensei. Now let's see how your new jutsu are going. First up is the Buddha's protection. I looked on as Naruko summoned a small layer of blue and red chakra around her body. This was the so-called Buddha's protection and it was quite pretty. The contrasting colors it produced did catch your attention and I even tried learning it myself to become even more magnificent. Now hold it up while I attack you. We're going to test how many of my fists it can block. Naruko nervously stood there as there was no way of knowing when it would stop protecting her and only weakly nodded. 1 fist, 2 fists. The Baldy kept hitting my poor pet until her protection finally broke. 27 fists. It shattered and Naruko slumped to the ground panting. I went up to her and tried to comfort her by some licks here and there. Thank you Tora-chan? Decent work Naruko-san. I didn't expect it to hold on for that long but there is still much room for improvement. Next up is the camouflage technique. Hi sensei. It worried me a little that her sensei required her to commit to the training so much that she wasn't even allowed to take a breather. I cared for my favorite human and seeing her get hurt also hurt me. And there's nothing worse than me getting hurt. Naruko slowly started blending in with her surroundings but it was nowhere near perfect especially for my cat eyes. When standing still she might not be really stealthy but it did help during hide and seek and even in the spars with her sensei. My Naruko put on the technique and together with her extremely fast speed, even for my standards, she just disappears from sight enough to strike. She's becoming more like a true cat. She uses her trickery to her advantage and is so agile and quick that it makes me proud. My favorite human has come so far in the years I've known her. It's just great. Sniff asterisk. No, I'm not crying or being sentimental. Don't even talk about that. Also decent. You've improved tremendously Naruko-san. Especially considering that this is an A- rank technique. You will be using these 2 jutsu during your entire career. Sensei, do you think I'm ready for the academy? Am I strong enough? How can she even ask that? She's far stronger than any of the brats that tried catching me during all those years. Come on pet, you have to be less insecure. Do you want my professional opinion or my personal one? Both? She began poking her fingers at each other in nervousness and I jumped up on her head to calm her down. Tora-chan? Meow. I don't have to worry? Meow. Really? Thank you Tora-chan. Baldy just looked at us with an arched eyebrow and had no idea what I said to my pet. I'm going to ignore that. But yes Naruko-san, you are more than ready. Your taijutsu is at a very high level and so are the ninjutsu you use to augment your strength. Tracking and stealth are by far your best trained skills and that's proven in the games of hide and seek. Even your sensei have to become serious in hiding themselves or else we stand no chance. So just like Tora-san apparently said, don't worry. You've done all of us proud. A rare smile appeared on the Baldy's face. Naruko ran up and gave him a hug. Thank you sensei. Just this once Baldy, The next time you hug her I will give you the paw of righteous justice for touching my property. Your next training is with Tu and Seiko. You have 1 hour to rest until they arrive. Thank you, sensei. He threw the well-deserved reward as he left and Naruto was once again sitting on the ground in bliss. I admit the cookies are decent but still not worthy of my sophisticated palate on every occasion. Baldy nodded, till next time, and walked away. Damn, we're going to have the menace next. I thought we had at least 3 more days before we would see her again. Although she did make Naruto-chan great in dodging attacks, most of the training with her just consisted of dodging as she wanted to pet Naruto's tail. I walked up to my pet and sat on her lap for the 1 hour of rest and purred in satisfaction as she stroked my fur. If only we could just stay like this forever. Tora-chan, are you excited for school? Her pleading eyes wanted just one answer from me. Meow, you're not? Her head slumped down in sadness and I licked it from her lap. Meow meow. You don't like others touching me, you don't want to get annoyed by other kids? Damn right, meow. Don't worry Tora-chan, I won't let them. You're still number 1 in my heart and will always be my bestest friend. I know, you will never leave the magnificent me, why would you? But I appreciate the sentiment, my pet. A few more licks and our quiet relaxing moment was brutally interrupted as Naruto flashed away from underneath me. Naruto-chan. I saw the menace barely a few centimeters away from me and instantly knew why she disappeared. I'm sorry Tora-chan, but it was either this or her getting my tail. Meow. Don't worry my pet, you made the right choice. Tail. Get back here Naruto-chan. The menace kept running and flashing towards my Naruto but failed to touch her or her tail each and every time. To get here, now. Seiko-san. The menace finally left us alone and stood next to the extremely serious Seiko as if nothing happened. The bitch, how dare she act so innocent. Seiko was one of the more decent sensei my pet had. Sure he was serious but he also had his acceptable points. 1. He never tried touching Naruto just like the Baldy. 2. He liked games. And the most important point, he kept the menace in check. She listened to his every command and whenever he was near she would never try anything. Good afternoon Naruto-san and Tora-san. It's time for your next training, we've got a special one ready for you this time. Naruto's eyes sparkled. Special? Tell me Date-ba-nia. We're going to train you together in 2 of our personal jutsu, the paralysis palm and flying swallow. The first makes every hit slightly paralyze your opponent and the second lets you extend the range of your claws. Huh, but she already does that? Meow? Tora-chan's right, don't I already extend my range? She tilted her head like she always does in confusion even if she doesn't realize that it makes her extremely cute. Naruto-chan, you're so cute. She's true on that point but I still hate her. Tu, don't you dare. Stay here. Hi Seiko, spoil sport? Why can't we bring him with us everywhere we go? That would save so much trouble. Maybe. As for your question, although you extend your range with the help of the cat's chakra, this is still not true extension. The technique we are going to teach you will make your claws even sharper, longer, and you may even be able to stay connected to the claws you shoot out. I can? Sparkle sparkle, she's becoming excited yet again. A nod came as a response and she cheered while jumping up and down. So cool Date-ba-nia. It's indeed a strong technique, especially combined with the paralysis palm if you manage to eventually fuse them. We've never been able to do so but maybe you will succeed in the future. I'm sure Naruto will, she's awesome just like me so there's nothing we can't do. Now then Naruto-san, are you ready? She excitedly nodded. Then first up is the paralysis palm. In theory this is a very simple technique, but to use it successful in combat is an entirely different thing. You infuse your hands with a small amount of lightning chakra and continuously keep it there. The moment you touch somebody that electricity will pass over to them and that's it. But, the difficult part is keeping that lightning chakra on your hands. Lightning is not an easy element and will often harm its caster as much as its target. So you will have to build up a resistance to your own lightning. This will hurt and can be considered an arduous task but we have the utmost confidence that you will be able to so. I will Date-ba-nia. She pumped her fist in the air and I did the same with my paw. This was going to be great. Now we can paralyze the menace and take our revenge. We, or rather my pet, trained for the next couple of hours in this remarkably useful technique. As I watched her and paid close attention, she made steady progress and after a while the training switched to the next jutsu. I didn't really care about this one as it sounded a bit more boring but I graciously gave them my attention nonetheless. The next technique is the flying swallow. For this technique you infuse your claw with either wind or lightning chakra and imagine it growing longer. I will show you. The serious sensei took out a small knife and it began to glow yellow. We could see the chakra form an even larger knife around it and he sliced a nearby rock with it. The rock got sliced clean through. This was a useful cat technique. Our claws are our primary weapon. Having longer and sharper claws is always great. Lightning chakra makes the knife sharper but also electrocutes the opponent. Wind, however, makes it so sharp that it will be able to cut almost anything. Her hand shot up for a question. Can't I just use both then? Then it does both. Sadly you can't. Lighting and wind chakra cancel each other out. You may have a different effect with the cat's chakra, but that is for you to determine. The rest of the day was a bit boring. I once again watched Naruto train and fell asleep halfway through until she woke me up. Tora-chan, it's dinner time. Oh, now that's something worth waking up for. Meow, let's go. She picked me up and held me to her chest as we rushed off to our feast. This process of training, eating and sleeping continued for the last 2 months, and at the end of it I mostly just slept. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm still able to enjoy my peace and quiet now, but that would stop soon. 7 days until school. Tora-chan, only 7 more days. I'm almost going to school. Date Bania. I know, you've been telling me every damn day the entire past month. Meow. Hee sorry Tora-chan. I'm just a bit excited. I wonder if I'll make friends. Do you think the other kids are nice? No, they're not. They're all damn brats that don't know when to shut up. Meow. You think they will be? I hope so too. No need to spoil her excitement though. 6 days until school. 6 more days. Date Bania. I chased my pet as she ran through the corridors with so much energy that it tired me out. How can somebody have this much energy? 5 days until school. I'm freaking out over here. This is just mental. Where is her off button? 1 day until school. Shut up. I'm dying over here. Stop with your shouting and running and sit the cami down. Meow. But Tora-chan, only 1 more day. I know. You've said that 203 times already and it's only morning. Naruto-chan, calm down. I know you're excited, but you have to keep that energy for school. Can't have you falling asleep there and missing a chance to meet friends now, can we? Good move, fatty, that will make her stop. I'm sorry, Ka-san. She calmed down a bit and sat down for lunch. Don't worry dear, it's fine, but I will miss having you around all day long. It's going to be quiet around here. And you're taking Tora-chan with you. Naruto-chan, I'm going to be so lonely. Don't worry, Ka-san, I'm sure Tora-chan will let you hug her when we return. She will? I will? Hold up, I never agreed to this. I think I know why she doesn't like you hugging her. Why? Tell me. I want to be able to hug my Tora-chan again. Tora-chan, paws out. Okay? She put her palms in front of her and I did as she asked, and put my paws in front of hers. Do you dislike Ka-san? No, I don't. I did. But over the years I've sadly grown to like her a bit. She treats us well, especially my pet, so no, I don't dislike her. I put my paw on Naruko's left palm. She says no, Ka-san, she doesn't dislike you. Then why doesn't she let me hug her? The fatty was beginning to sob and I couldn't stand the sight of her doing that. But I would see where Naruto-chan was going with this. Do you dislike her hugs? I slammed my paw on her right palm so many times that it began hurting. I utterly despise her bone-crunching hugs. The fatty began crying. Wait up, Ka-san, I'm almost done, trust me. Do you hate them because they're bone-crunching? Again I slammed my paw on her right palm. Would you mind her hugging you if she did it gently like I do? Maybe I could possibly accept her doing so in return for her actions. I could try? She does deserve it to hug the magnificent me, and she appreciates my beauty. I reluctantly put my paw on Naruko's left one and she beamed. You will let her hug you if she does it gently? I moved my paw from the left to her right. Ka-san, she will let you hug her, but only if you do it gently. She doesn't like how you usually hug her. So, can you try doing that? The fatty crouched down in front of me on the wet grass, something she would never do in a million years, and slowly started holding out her arms. I sighed one last time and walked up to her and let her hug me, and surprisingly, it was decent. Tora-chan, you're letting me hug you. I know I'm great, you're welcome. See, Ka-san, she doesn't mind, just do it gently. Thank you, Naruko-chan. I can finally hug my Tora-chan again after all those years. Tora-chan, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. Apology half accepted. Need more fish in order for me to really accept it. Meow. She said she wants you to buy the Tora special to show you mean it? Good work my pet, you know what I said. Guards. Two men ran up to us from a doorway and went on their knees. Madam. Get the Ichiraku's Tora special for my Tora-chan. And also the Naruto special. Wait, get 10 each. Hi madam. They rushed towards Konoha and the fatty smiled. Is that enough? Meow, it's a beginning. Tora-chan says yes. No I didn't you liar. Meow. She also wants some fish cookies. I could only watch my pet use her cutesy eyes on Fatty and had no way of stopping her. You win this one my pet, but this isn't over yet. Day of Doom, 0 days until school starts oh help me Cammy. Closing parenthesis. There I was sleeping nice and quiet on some warm blankets and having the most wonderful and brat-free dreams when suddenly terror struck. Wake up Tora-chan, it's school day. I hate mornings, everybody that's a morning person, could you just, not? The rude awakening shot me a full meter in the air and I honestly thought we were under attack, and I wasn't wrong in a matter of speaking. I did something that I rarely did to my human, I showed displeasure and hissed. Sorry Tora-chan, it's just that, it's school day and I was kind of excited to make some friends. Oh great now I'm the bad guy, she was the one that brutally woke me up. Nope, no pity for her, have pity for me, I'm the victim here. Trying to snooze for another 5 minutes I just ignored the morning person only for her to grab me and start hugging me, hard choice though, sleeping or hugs from my human. Oh wait it isn't, sleep. Let me go, meow, but we had to go. I've let you sleep for the whole morning until we had to go, and it's breakfast time, do you want to skip breakfast? No, fine. I got up and gave one final, don't you dare do this to me aga and look at Naruto. We went to get our dinner and saw the daimyo and his fatty already sitting at the table with a very large assortment of choice, sweet. Good morning you two, hope you had a nice sleep. I did, only 1 more hour and school starts. I'm so excited date bania. Ignore them Tora. Just ignore them and get some fish for breakfast, no need to keep yourself busy with the morning horror. Some fish later and I sat on top of my comfy chair waiting for the most horrible day in my life to begin. Okay second most horrible day but it's close. Naruto-chan I think you should be going now, it's a 15 minutes to half an hour run for you too and you don't want to be late. Okay, Tora-chan are you ready? Meow. Let's get this over with, the sooner we get there the sooner we can leave, I hope. I'm going to have Asuma escort you towards Konoha and he will wait there until your day is done. He has business in Konoha so don't worry about him getting bored. And don't forget your lunch. Lunch? At least that part is decent. Let's see some dried fish, cookies, some more fish and a note at which time our ramen will be delivered. We're getting ramen? Nice timing my pet. You sure are, can't let my 2 favorites starve. Tucci-san agreed to deliver a bowl of ramen to each of you during the lunch break. Now off you go or else you're late. Naruto gave her parents one final hug and held me to her chest. Are you two ready to go? Hi Asuma-sensei. We sped off to Konoha in such speed that even I became slightly uncomfortable. Oh sorry Tora-chan I forgot. A second later and I stopped feeling the wind and Naruto held me closer to her. The wonders of a simple wind barrier. Only about 20 minutes later and we arrived at the gates of Konoha. Here we are. Will the two of you make it towards the academy by yourselves? Hi, thanks for taking us here. No problem Naruto-chan, have fun today and make plenty of friends. Tora-chan, good luck. I held up my paw to him as a sign of thanks. I was going to need it. The smoky sensei flashed away and we were left with each other, just how I like it. You ready Tora-chan? No, meow. It'll be fun, you'll see. No it wasn't. We went our way and soon arrived at the academy where a bunch of grouped up brats were already waiting outside. We went inside and ignored them for now and I hope forever in search of our classroom. Meow? Classroom 8, it should be around here? Naruto walked up to a man with brown hair kept in a high ponytail. She blushed a little and shyly asked, "Sir, can you help us?" He turned around and I saw the most ordinary face except for a large scar running horizontally in the middle of it. Of course I can. Wait, are you the new student we're expecting? I am? The man went on one knee and held his right hand in the left palm. I welcome you Naruto-sama, welcome to Konoha Academy. I'm your new teacher Amino Aruka. Naruto became really flustered and held her hands in front of her. No don't do that. I'm just a student, please don't treat me like someone special. But why? At least this man knows his place. Why stop him from showing us the respect we deserve? Naruto, I still have to teach you many things. Ponytail got up and smiled. I'm sorry for making you nervous. I was told to give the proper respect to the daimyo's daughter. But don't worry, the other kids don't know of your status, and as per your request I won't treat you like a special case. Thank you. She smiled back, and I just watched the two interact while not being properly introduced. Meow. Tora-chan. I'm sorry. Sensei, this is Tora-chan. Tora-chan, this is Sensei. Ponytail looked at me in horror and let out a soft whisper, the Genin Destroyer. He knows who I am. At least my reputation wasn't forgotten after only a few years. Maybe there is hope for Ponytail still. Naruto tilted her head. Sensei? What do you mean? I glared at him and he coughed. Nothing, Naruto-san, I made a mistake. It's nice to meet you, Tora-san. Shall I accompany the two of you to my classroom? Class starts in 5 to 10 minutes. Please. We went into the classroom and found it near empty except for one kid that was sleeping at a desk in the far back. Sleeping in a classroom? I think I like this kid already. Meow. You want me to sit next to him, Tora-chan? Meow. Sensei, can I sit next to him? I don't see why not. That's Shikamaru Nara, the smartest kid in the class but also the laziest. Don't mind his sleeping, it's what the Nara do. Naruto didn't need to hear any more and ran up the staired classroom towards the open spot next to him. Hi. I'm Naruto. Troublesome. That's a funny name. Shikamaru. The kid only gave the shortest possible answers, and I think, actually I'm quite certain that he's also not a morning person. Nice to meet you. Can I sit down? He gave her one look and went back to sleep. We took this as a yes and sat down. Naruto on the seat and me in front of her on top of the desk. Meow. Okay, Tora-chan, have a nice nap. The sleepiness around the boy was infectious, and soon I found myself snoozing and my pet was not far behind me as the minutes went by. It seems she didn't sleep as well as she had told us. My guess is that she hardly slept at all due to the excitement, and the lack of sleep just now caught up as she sat down. I woke up as I heard somebody sitting down next to us and gave the brat a glance. She seemed familiar somehow, but I couldn't put my paw on it. Dark blue hair that's cut real short except for 2 bangs in the front. White eyes without a pupil that just seem weird, and red cheeks. What an odd combination. The girl, brat, rummaged in her bag and put a small paper one in front of her. A most alluring smell was coming out of the bag, and I couldn't help but sniff and noticed Naruto doing the same in her sleep. She took something out of the bag as I looked on in expectation, and the next second. Chomp. My hand. Now I know where I knew her from. It's the sorry excuse of a girl that tried to steal my Naruto with fish cookies. My pet woke up from her slumber and sleepily opened her eyes. Quookie? Naruto just nibbled on the hand in bliss, and the sorry excuse of a girl struggled yet again to remove her hand. Meow. The rest was just mumbling as I had no idea what she was saying. Can you please, let go? Naruto noticed the hand stuck in her mouth and removed it as if there was nothing peculiar about having one in her mouth. Hi, I'm Naruto and this is Tora-chan. Hinata. The girl began poking her fingers together and blushed. It almost resembled someone cute, but I knew better. I knew this brat was anything but. Naruto grabbed her hand. Nice to meet you, Dateba Nia. Can I pet the kitty? No you cannot. Tora-chan, can she? Please? Meow. She says only if you become my friend. Again, you're lying. Don't you dare. Sure. The brat tried to pet me and I began hissing. She doesn't want me to. A gloomy expression replaced the brat's previously joyous one, and I was victorious. Except for the killing intent I felt from close by, it almost seemed as if. Oh crap, I'm in trouble. I tried to run, but Naruto caught me in a murderous hug of doom. Tora-chan, you will let her pet you? Okay. The sickly sweet venom in her voice was all too clear. Fine, but just this once. Reluctantly I got out of the hug and went up to the brat for my doom. Come on Tora, you can do this. Just a few strokes and she's done. You can do this. Her hand is coming closer. Breathed Tora. Relax. The hand touched my precious fur, and oh my sweet Kami of cats, this is amazing. This new second favorite human has the hand of God. I purred in delight and almost formed a puddle from the glorious petting. I could get used to this school thing. The bell rang and I glared at the girl. If she even dared stop petting me, I swear to Kami. Meow. She doesn't want you to stop. Sorry Hinata-chan, but you don't really have a choice. Naruto was just grinning and beamed at having made a new friend. I found her choice in friends acceptable so far. Hinata, Naruto, pay attention. Class has begun. I instantly turned my head towards Ponytail and gave him the most murderous glare I have ever given anybody. On second thought, continue Hinata, damn right she's not stopping. Now then class, we have a new student. Naruto, can you come forward and introduce yourself? Hi. She excitedly jumped out of her seat and ran up to the front of the class while I was not going to leave this spot anytime soon. I'm Naruto, nice to meet you. Murmurs began and Ponytail cleared his throat. Can you tell us a few things about yourself, such as likes and dislikes? Sure, I like Tora-chan, who you can see over there. I also like my family, training, games, fish, eating fish, fish ramen, fish cookies, fish cakes, fish on a stick, sushi, fish stew. The class looked at her in utter silence as she kept naming things with fish until Ponytail stopped her. How dare he? Fish is life. Okay Naruto, we understand you like fish. Now as for dislikes? Oh, but I still had a few left to name. My dislikes are being bored and hungry. A whisper was heard in the far left of the room and it gave both me and Naruto a tick mark when we heard it. And putting your fat cat on a diet. You, how dare you call Tora-chan fat? My pet righteously stormed to the brat that dared insult the great and glorious me. Fat, how dare he? She's great, beautiful and perfect and you're just a dog breath piece of trash. I've never felt that much killing intent coming from her. It washed over us and half of the room had cold sweat running down their face and back, but nobody dared to even move. Slam. The brat's head went straight through the desk. Don't you dare insult her ever again. Do you understand dog breath? Naruto, I think he's unconscious, already? But she'd just gotten started. This isn't over yet, dog breath, not by a long shot. Sorry sensei, but he did something unforgivable. No, it's fine, just get back to your seat. Shino, can you get a nurse for Kiba? A kid with dark glasses nodded and went out of the classroom. I happily smirked at Naruto as she sat back next to me. My second favorite human had stopped petting when the killing intent washed over her though. Meow. Hinata, can you continue petting Tora-chan? She seems to like it. Sure, that's better. Let's see what other fun this not-so-disastrous school thing has to bring us. Naruto, wake up. Wait, who dares wake me up? Sensei? I was having a nice dream. That's the point. You shouldn't be dreaming in the classroom. Is Ponytail serious? Then why is he so extremely boring? Who's able to pay attention 3 hours straight? Troublesome. Sleepy is talking? Now that's rare, don't mess up my good impression of you. Sensei, why does Shikamaru get to sleep and I can't? I know all the things you're talking about already. Ponytail apparently grew annoyed. Don't like having your authority questioned, right huh? Because, Naruto, he's a Nara and it's genetic. I can't stop him from sleeping. But as for you, you have no excuse. So troublesome. Sensei, wait, stop, don't continue talking. You're supposed to be quiet. If I'm allowed to sleep because I'm a Nara, then Naruto has all the more reason. She's a cat girl. Tell me, what do cats do most of their time? Sleeping, of course. Wait, Sleepy is making sure we're allowed to sleep. Damn, I love this brat. They sleep? Cat, got your tongue, Ponytail? Precisely, so sleeping is in her genetics as well. He just stopped talking and went back to sleep after the explanation. Third favorite human ever. As I was saying, class, Chakra is. I just grinned at Naruto and saw her grin back. Can he pet you? Meow, sure, but he's too lazy so he wouldn't want to. Bonus points in my book. You think we're going to learn anything useful from school? So far it seems boring and easy. No way, really? Are you serious? I thought it was hard? Of course we aren't. We've had like 12 Jonin teaching us personally each day. Meow. Thought so. Sleep tight. As long as she keeps sitting next to my second favorite human, then I'm fine with this year, if only they end up on the same team. Only a few seconds of perfect dreams later and we were once again rudely awoken by Ponytail. Class, we're going outside for physical education. Finally, Dateba Nia. Naruto picked me up and let me daydream against her chest as we went our way outside. Oh great, now all these brats were talking again. Now then class, we're going to start with taijutsu practice. A random screaming pink banshee that would not shut up. Really, she'd been staring at an emo brat and had been shouting, no screaming things at him. It went like this. Sasuke-kun, I love you, Sasuke-kun. Sasuke, oh shut the hell up you pink banshee. No wonder that she was my new most hated human ever. Maybe possibly in the entire world? Meow. I know Tora-chan, trust me, I know. Let the new girl go first. Why the hell was she allowed to enter the last year academy when I had to stay in it for 6 years while being the top kunoichi? Sure, I'll go first. How about I go against you, Pinky? Now that I would like to see. Suddenly she shut up. Amazing, I didn't think she was able to do that. Ponytail was really a double-edged sword. On one side he's horrible but on the other he's quite decent. That sounds like a great idea. The first spar will be Sakura against Naruto. Oh Cammy, I have got to see this, no time for sleeping. A seemingly reluctant Banshee walked up to her spot and took the patented Academy Taijutsu style. Meow. You want me to what? Meow. Butcher her. Stop talking to the cat, you creep. What are you, scared? I'll show Sasuke-kun that I'm the best. That's it, she's done Date Bania. Tora-chan, enjoy the show while it lasts. Naruto stood right in front of her victim. Yep, victim, no other way to call her. Torture target maybe? Are the both of you ready? Sure. Sasuke-kun, look at me. Naruto said nothing, although she was sharpening her claws and smirking. Start. Don't make it too quick, Naruto. Please don't end it too fast. She disappeared from sight and it seemed the fun was about to begin. You can't use ninjutsu, sensei, this is unfair. 5 claw marks on her chest and blood started seeping from the wounds. I'm not using ninjutsu, trust me, if I did then you'd be dead by now, Pinky. Blood? Did she really just faint from that small wound? But, I wanted to have more fun. Come on, Pinky, wake up. Ponytail stood there frozen at the sidelines. I think he's wondering if he has a chance against Naruto? Come on, Ponytail, wake up, or rather. Meow. My pet grinned in response and kicked the pink Banshee while she was on the ground. She groaned and woke up from the pain. She was unconscious. Why'd you kick her while she was on the ground? Oh, she was unconscious? Sorry, I thought she was just pretending. You know deception is part of the shinobi code. Good thinking, pet. And look, I was right. She's awake, Date Bania. Although she is groaning from pain on the ground, it is true that she's awake. I don't see a problem here. Ponytail hasn't signaled the end of the sparsu? Ah, he woke up from his slumber, cough, winner Naruto. Anybody that wants to bring Sakura to the nurse? Nobody? Come on, at least somebody. I know she's an annoyance, understatement of the millennia. A random boy was then assigned to bring the Banshee to the nurse. Poor him. He was crestfallen when he was randomly picked and I can understand why. Naruto, even though you did well with the spar, it is not proper behavior to harm a fellow classmate like that. This is the second time you've done that today. I can't help it, she's that terrible. I only used high genin level, she should have been able to hold out for at least a minute, 10 seconds tops in my opinion. Ponytail was again speechless, or he just ignored the issue further and went on with the class. Either way was fine with me, although the fun part was already over. Time for a nap then? Sensei, I think Tora-chan should also participate in the class. Please let this happen, please put me against Dogboy. Ponytail shivered at the thought and looked at me with fear. I don't think that's a good idea, Naruto. Why not? She's really strong. Because the class doesn't really stand much of a chance. That's true though. TS is as if a pathetic fat cat can beat me. Everybody knows dogs are better. Ponytail winced and knew what was going to happen, so he just made it official. Next spar is Kiba against Tora-san. Start. You're serious? Time to pay, little brat. I channeled my chakra and cat flickered in front of him, my claws pouncing towards his crotch, and I could see the fear appearing on his face as my claws inched closer. Tora-chan, a bit higher. Fine, but I was so close. The claw opened his stomach and he began heavily bleeding as he clutched his wounds. Winner Tora-san. The class gasped at the sight and total silence reigned as I went back to Naruto. Meow. You did awesome, Tora-chan. Didn't expect anything less. How is the cat that strong? Kiba, go to the nurse, again. And I hope you learned your lesson about insulting Tora-san. Ah, the sweet whispers from the brats. That new girl and her cat are mental. Not the word I preferred, but acceptable nonetheless. Troublesome pair? Why is Emo staring at us? It's as if he thinks he's better than us? You, fight me, now. Nope, you will do as I say. And why would I do that? Because I'm an Uchiha, you peasant. Did he just, this brat is arrogant, alright. Ponytail held the Emo back sadly. Get back, Sasuke, and believe me, you don't want to call her that. Why not? I'm an Uchiha, everybody is below me. Your funeral Sasuke. There's no way she can beat Sasuke-kun. Oh great, another fangirl? How many fangirls does one emo have? The emo rushed towards Naruto with a snail's pace and arrogant smirk. Slam and his face met the ground. Sasuke-kun, she cheated. Are you serious? I can't help it that emo is weak. You caught him off guard. There's no such thing, and if you don't even know that, then just quit being a sorry excuse of a kunoichi blondie. Such a cute girl and yet so unforgiving, isn't she perfect? She's right, Ino. Sasuke was even in the wrong. He rushed her without my permission and therefore he will be punished. What? Was the reaction of a third of the class. You can't punish Sasuke-kun. The emo got up with a bloodied face and gave my pet an angry stare. You bitch. How dare you humiliate me? He's not going to try again, is he? And he is. Slam. Sensei, if he attacks me again I will stop holding back. Don't worry about that, Naruto. Better yet, class is dismissed. I'm bringing Sasuke to the Hokage for insubordination. Spend your time however you want and I'll see you all tomorrow. Insubordination? You should punish the bitch. She started. A massive wave of killing intent spiked from Naruto and she glared at the pathetic excuses of kunoichi. Call me that one more time and you'll all be visiting the hospital, understand? Let's go, Tora-chan. Hinata-chan, you want to come over for dinner? I'm not sure my father would like that. She held her face down in sadness. Poor second favorite human. Don't worry about that, Dateba Nia. My favorite human took my second favorite human's hand and dragged her away and I victoriously followed suit. I want her to keep petting me. We left the academy grounds and I was glad the day had finally come to an end. Smokey appeared before us with a smile. So your day is already over? Maybe, yes it was and we caused it. Care to tell me what happened? He didn't really give off the air of us having a choice though. She put up a sweet smile. Sure. I beat the pink banshee in a spar and then the emo kid rushed me twice without permission even when I said no and I slammed him into the ground. You slammed him into the ground? Yep. And now you're dragging a girl with you? Naruto-san, there's a limit to everything even for you. But she's cool and I want to have her over for dinner. Same. And what about her parents? Does she have permission? She did say something about her father maybe not agreeing with it. But that isn't a no? Come on Smokey, say yes, you know you want to. I'm getting too old for this. Fine, let's go. We dragged the stuttering girl with us but she was a bit too slow. It would take hours to get home. I was about to meow in frustration but Smokey was ahead of me and put her over his shoulder. Sorry Hinata-san, but we had to hurry up. Not long after our run a white-eyed creep stopped us in an arrogant tone as if he had at least a few sticks up his ass. Halt! Who dares take the Hyuga mistress in such manner and without notifying us? The creep really doesn't recognize me? Or my human? We're pretty damn famous, or does he only live in his own little stick-up-the-ass world? I'm Sarutobi Asuma and we're taking the mistress to the daimyo for dinner. I think one of his sticks fell out of his ass. He's getting pale and quiet. Very well, I will notify our leader. Mistress, make sure not to bring shame to your clan and you will report to your father by the end of the day. Creepy disappeared and I heard the girl let a breath of relief. I think my second favorite human has some problems at home. Meow. Naruto nodded. I think so too. We'll tell mother later. A while later, Ka-san were home. I heard stomping on the ground and soon the ground began shaking. We trembled in fear as it got closer and closer. Then, right around the corner came the fatty. In all honesty, she isn't really that fat anymore, but still, nicknames are nicknames. Welcome home. She ran up to us and I jumped away just in time before she gave Naruto the hug of death. Poor Naruto only told her not to hug precious me like that. C-A-N-T. Smokey stopped her as my human became purple. Milady, I believe Naruto-san can't breathe at the moment. You might want to hug more gently? Naruto fell to the ground gasping for breath. My baby, I'm so sorry. Only problem is what fatty does when she's sorry, which is giving a hug. Milady, you should really stop hugging her, again? I sighed and did the only thing possible in this situation, become the victim in order to save my precious human. I jumped up to Fatty and she caught me quite graciously, if I may say so myself, and I may. Tora-chan. She actually took the advice previously given seriously. She didn't hug me to death, Kami, it actually worked. Naruto started recovering and slowly crawled up from the ground as my second favorite human helped her. Kami, bless her. How can anybody ever hate that girl? Naru-chan, you brought a friend. Fatty seemed to have noticed and joyously went towards them. Welcome to our home. It's the first time Naru-chan brought a friend. Milady. No need for formalities, a friend of Naruko is a friend of mine, I'm Madam Shijimi. Hinata? Glad to have you here, Hinata-chan. Thank you for escorting them, Asuma. Naruko, take Hinata-chan inside to clean up, dinner is ready in an hour. Hi, come on Hinata, let's go. The girl started stuttering yet again but was dragged away nonetheless. I don't really feel like bathing yet because my beautiful hair takes far too long to dry, that and I'm far too tired from the exhausting day. Let's get some snacks. Meanwhile, Tora-chan, fine with me. A little while later we went to the dining hall and I saw the daimyo already sitting there. How come I've never made a nickname for him? Meow. Evening to you as well, Tora-chan. Fatty sat down beside him and they had a boring conversation about how their day was, and it really did not interest me in the slightest. What did interest me was the food on the table. Come on Naruko, you've already made me wait for 8 whole minutes. It's time for food. Another excruciatingly long minute later, as the fish was just pestering me that I wasn't able to start eating it yet, they showed up. Meow. Sorry Tora-chan, I wanted to show Hinata our home. Daimyo-sama. Once again the stuttering second favorite human kneeled. Wait, she didn't stutter. That's a first. So, you must be Naruko's friend. It's nice to meet you Hinata-chan. Don't be so formal and just sit at the table. Our dinner is waiting. Hi. Ah, there it is. Dinner finally started and we ate the adequate dinner. So Naru-chan, Tora-chan, how was your first school day? Extremely and utterly boring. Meow. Tora-chan's right. It was a bit boring. Most of the time I just slept and Hinata was petting Tora-chan, I think. Oh yeah, I also slammed someone's face through his desk and slammed another emo kid in the ground. She kind of got excited at the last part. You what? Naruko, that's very unladylike. Oh come on old man, you know we're perfectly ladylike. We're the epitome of it, in fact, at least I am. But the boy insulted Tora-chan. He what? What's the brat's name? Ah, killing intent. Fatty is seriously pissed. Good. Don't worry Ka-san, we already took care of him. No need to execute some brat. He just can't appreciate perfection. If anything we should pity him. You're right, we should pity him. Be sure to teach him to appreciate beauty, and if need be I will contact the Hokage to include it into the program. Oh that would be glorious, a class about beauty. I can already imagine the brats crying. Meow. Tora-chan said that would be great. Then it's settled. If this happens even one more time then I will make sure it happens. And what about the second brat? He challenged me and I refused because he's an emo arrogant brat, weak too. So he deserved it, then it's fine. A lady corrects others for their inappropriate behavior. The second favorite human was beginning to look at me with longing eyes after she'd finished her dinner. I believe she wants to pet me again. Fine by me. Tora-chan, you're letting Hinata-chan pet you? You never let others do that. Can't respond, too amazing. Tora-chan really likes her petting and is sort of addicted to it. Is she now? Hinata-chan, could you teach me? I don't know, would you be willing to try? I would very much appreciate it. Wait, she can teach others how to pet like this? That would be heavenly. I kind of didn't notice the rest of what they were saying as I began dreaming about the perfect world full of people with such an amazing skill. Why has nobody made a cat petting jutsu yet? The rest of the evening went by and my second favorite human was sadly sent home, but I didn't fear as I knew I would see her again tomorrow. Naruko was overjoyed the entire remaining evening as she jumped up and down in bliss. Tora-chan, she's so awesome. Do you think she will come again tomorrow? Meow, if only. What if I just drag her along again? The grin on her face showed all I needed to know, she really planned to. Meow. Okay Tora-chan, I will dateba nia. The very next day. Meow. Good morning Hinata-chan. Gee, good morning. She hurriedly went to the desk and sat down. I got up, sat in front of her and waited for the bliss to start, but it didn't. Meow? What's wrong Hinata-chan? She held down her head and on her face I could see confusion and excitement but also a lot of nervousness. Nothing. And? Tell me dateba nia. Tu-san? He didn't punish you, did he? Oh hell no he didn't. Onward to Fatty to report this. He told me to hang out with you. Oh Cammy, that's not what I expected. This is amazing. And here I thought her father was trash. That's great Hinata-chan. Let's go to my place again. Okay. Way to go Naruko-chan. This was perfect. Our doubt about her father abusing her was totally wrong. He even told her to hang out with us. That's a great father in my opinion. Ka-san, it's her, she hurt Sasuke-kun. Oh great, and the day just started in a wonderful way. The banshee returns with an extra. The pink banshee's mother stormed towards us with a menacing look. You bitch of an abomination, how dare you hurt the Uchiha and my daughter? Way to get your priorities straight, first the emo and then you care about your own daughter? The comment however didn't suit either me or Naruto. It's been years since somebody dared call her that, and she sure as Kami wasn't going to take it gently. A fake smile appeared on her face. What did you call me? You know what I called you. Anbu, arrest her. Anbu? The masked guys? As if they would dare do anything against us. This banshee is crazy. Anbu, arrest her. Nope, still nothing. How dare you disobey my orders? Meow. Oh great idea, Tora-chan. Let's see if this works. Anbu, arrest this banshee. Instantly 2 masked guys appeared next to the banshee. Councilwoman, you are hereby placed under arrest for unruly behavior. What? How dare you? This demon abomination was the one that. She didn't finish to my enjoyment. One of the Anbus slammed her in the guts and she fell to the ground. Say one more word and the capital punishment awaits. We're bringing you to the Hokage immediately. Apparently being the daughter of the daimyo is of more importance than the orders of a mere council bitch. Who'd have thought? Ka-san? Wow, her high pitch dropped. It's as if she's shocked. The pink banshee just stood there in silence afterwards, and I savored the lack of sound. This day was getting better and better. First my second favorite human gets to hang out with us, and now I see the banshee's mother getting arrested. Amazing. Good morning class. Good morning sensei. Wait, something's missing, but what? It's like the class is lacking a certain negativity. As you may have noticed, Sasuke is missing. Ah, that's it. Due to his insubordination he is now facing a punishment. A loud outcry of apparent injustice began. Quiet. He disobeyed the rules and went against my orders, therefore he will be punished just as anybody else would. As for Sakura, either you sit down or leave, but don't stand there staring in front of yourself. Best day ever? Troublesome. Oh no, how could I forget about the third favorite? I walked up to him and graciously offered a petting session. He looked at me questionable and caved to his desire. The petting was decent but nowhere near my second favorite human's level. But he deserved it, for a minute at least, and that was the limit. I went back to the better spot and the day went on. It was mediocre and nothing special happened. Maybe something did, wouldn't know as we were sleeping. The bell rang, Naruto picked me up and us 3 went outside to head home, but instead of 3 it turned to 4. And who was the 4th, you might ask? The third favorite human. Naruto, a minute of your time? This is interesting? Would you be willing to come to my home for dinner sometime? My mother wants to meet you, you too, Hinata. Sounds acceptable? Sure. Want to come with us to our home? That would be, come on Sleepy, say it, you know you want to join us. Troublesome? No, wrong word. So that's a yes? Great, let's go. I quickly jumped on top of her head as she grabbed the 2 by their hand. Asuma-sensei, can we go? Smokey appeared before us and just sighed. Fine, let's begin the journey. We were slower this time as Smokey couldn't carry both the second and third favorite human, but that was fine, as long as we made it back eventually. We're going to the daimyo's palace, aren't we? Good guess. I thought kids weren't supposed to know who we were. Yep, troublesome, he just left it at that. Not a word or question more, it's like he already knew everything. Ka-san, To-san, we're home. We ran through the hallway and entered the throne room without a care in the world. It was one of my rooms, why would I care? Oh, you have guests, sorry? You got that wrong, Naruto. They should say sorry for getting in our way, still have much to learn. About 10 people were standing in front of the daimyo and Fatty. They turned around and looked at us. Some had resentment in their eyes and others just plain nothing. Welcome home. And you brought Hinata-chan again, and who's this? You brought Inara. Welcome you too. Fatty ignored the 10 and ran up for a hug. Hinata-chan said she's allowed to hang out with us every day. Hiyashi-san, is that true? I looked and saw a man with similar eyes to Hinata-chan's. This must be your father. It is Hokage-sama. I believe it would do well for Hinata to make a friend such as Naruto-san. Hokage? Ah, now I see, the guy with the massive hat is here as well. You're Hinata-chan's father? Naruto ran up to him and I followed suit. Thanks for letting her become my friend. You're welcome, Naruto-san. I hope you become great friends. Wow, this guy was stiff. No emotion to be seen or heard whatsoever. Let's go play Hinata-chan, Shikamaru-kun. I decided to stay here and see what was going on, meow. Okay Tora-chan, I'll see you later. They ran away. At least Naruto and Hinata did. Sleepy was just being dragged over the ground by his arm and he didn't even complain. Now let's see what's going on here. Why are all of the people here and even the Hokage being one of them? As I was saying, Hokage-san, your council has overstepped their bounds. Spreading the news about my daughter and what's inside of her is one thing, but threatening to destroy her school life in secret. If it weren't for the importance of your council, I would have executed all of the ones responsible. Hi Daimyo-sama, but they still deserve suitable punishment and I would appreciate your judgment. Hiyashi, Shikaku, Inoichi and Danzo, you are free to go. Keep your other council members in check from now on. Nara, feel free to bring your son here more often. A friend of my daughter is always welcome here. The same goes for you Hiyashi. The men bowed, thank you Daimyo-sama, and walked away slowly. As for the rest of you, I believe some compensation for my daughter is due. As of now 10% of your monthly income before tax deduction is going straight to my daughter. You will be banned from coming less than 500 meters close to her and you will stay out of her life directly or indirectly henceforth. Failure to comply to this ruling is punishable by death. That's decent, but not enough, meow. He looked at me and nodded. And you will give Tora 1 akimichi fish stew plus a Tora special ramen each day. Now that's better. The group was sweating profusely and could only nod in fear. Anger was seen in their eyes but they didn't dare show any of it. Hi Daimyo-sama, here is in this ruling does not count for you. Your task will be changing the educational system. From my knowledge I find the system to be lacking. At the moment you can pass and become a genin with only theoretical knowledge. That is to be changed. The oldie with the hat smiled and nodded. Of course Daimyo-sama. You should also ask Danzo for his help in this. I know that you don't see eye to eye, but we don't need shinobi that value their emotions more than their orders. We also don't need emotionless ones, but they have to know that an order is to be followed. The smile faded and he frowned slightly. I shall do as you ask. Very well, and one last thing. The Haruno councilwoman is to be removed from your council. Oldie's smile came back. He must hate her as well. What? Ah, she was one of them. I didn't even notice as I wasn't paying attention to the group. But what about her actions towards Uchiha Sasuke? You dare question me? I'm sorry Daimyo-sama. Better, 20% of your income henceforth. And I'm glad you mentioned the Uchiha, I forgot about him for a moment. Oh, this was going to be great. The daimyo rarely smirked, but when he did it was glorious. Most didn't know, but he's also a pranker just like us, and that's one of the reasons I find him decent. He disobeyed the orders given and has already been punished for that, but I do not condone with the treatment he is getting. I have no good words for his clan and their actions had been a thorn in my side. Therefore I do not accept you treating the last Uchiha as a prince. You will treat him like any other child. That means no special treatment, no lowered prices and no favoritism. Hiruzen, you will send him to a psychologist. I accept that his past is tragic, but that does not condone his attitude towards others. He will receive help for this. Hi Daimyo-sama. The rest of the group could only gasp at what was said. Their whole world was being turned upside down. I loved this day. Really, what could have been better than this? That is all, you are dismissed. Hiruzen, would you care to stay for dinner? I will see that your son joins us as well. Oldie smiled. I would love to accept, but I have much to arrange in Konoha. Could I join some other time? A nod was his response and the group left. Smokey appeared next to us. You didn't have to do that, my lord. Why not? I think it was kind of nice of him. And you aren't half bad, Smokey. I won't turn you down. The rift between you and your father should be fixed, Asuma. I know your opinion of him, but he has changed over the years that you've been here. For my sake, please give him a chance. Very well, but I won't casually accept him. I don't expect you to. I will just provide you with a start and the rest is between the both of you. As the meeting was done, I went on my way to find two favorite humans. I knew where they were as I felt a link with Naruto. Soon after I arrived at one of the training grounds we often used. Baldy was standing there together with Naruto and Stutter. Damn, I'm great at making up nicknames. I heard them talking and what I heard certainly pleased me, if I must say. Naruto-san, you want Hinata-san to join us in our training sessions? I do, Date Bania. And what is your opinion on this, Hinata-san? Please say yes, Stutter, it's more time with us. Sure. Baldi sighed and relented. Then I will agree. But first you must participate in 3 of our sessions in order to find out if you can handle them. I will not lower the level of training to suit your needs. That's fine. I'm sure Hinata-chan is awesome Datebania. Stutter just looked down and pressed her fingers together cutely. Now that I think about it, she's really cute. Not as cute as Naruto of course, but still up there definitely. The training commenced and Stutter was struggling to keep up with the level. That was to be expected though, as Naruto is at least high Chunin level already. You okay Hinata-chan? Yeah, I'm fine. Stuttering and gasping for breath, not a great combination. Baldi stopped the warming up. You did decently Hinata-san. I will accept your level so far. It's time for training our techniques. These are either ninjutsu or in your case taijutsu. Naruto-san, let's show her what we mean by that so she can follow our example. HN. Buddha's protection. The shield popped up around her and she rushed at Baldi. The two exchanged a multitude of blows. Naruto was on the offense initially but was soon forced to switch to the defense as Baldi was a step above her in skill. 3 clones appeared next to Naruto. Buddha's protection. All of them now had the beautiful shield. They attacked Baldi and the fight became intense. Paw 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 paw. She still hadn't learned to stop doing this, but it didn't matter. She used it to surprise the opponent. It's just that Baldi had gotten used to it and didn't pay attention to what she said, but I'm sure others would fall for it. She began incorporating wind and lightning chakra into her attacks. The training ground was slowly but surely getting destroyed. Welcoming approach. 1,000-armed murder. Oh damn, Baldi was getting serious. Blow after blow hit Naruto and her clones and soon all of the clones were destroyed. Naruto tried to hold off against the onslaught but was getting pushed back. A final hit and she fell to the ground in exhaustion. I lost, but that was fun Databanya. Indeed it was Naruto-san. And you managed to hold out against 644 of my strikes. That is a new record. Amazing? I saw Stutter's mouth wide open as she had seen the fight. To see somebody your age do something like that. I'm not surprised she felt like this. Naruto-chan, what is that chakra? She timidly asked, but you could see the curiosity on her face. Oh, I forgot to tell you. I'm the host of the 9-tailed cat. You could see it that clearly? No Naruto, no normal person could see it that clearly. You don't leak the chakra anymore. In fact, you incorporate into your body and strengthen yourself with it. But Stutter has those eyes. It's no wonder she found out this quickly. Let's hope she doesn't mind. What? Apparently she does? She didn't even stutter, and holy Kami, can she shout. You don't mind, do you Hinata-chan? Naruto's face fell and fear was apparent on it. The chance of losing her first and best friend to something out of her control. No, it's just that. Don't worry Hinata-san, Naruto is in perfect control. She and the Kyuubi are in perfect harmony and the story is different than people make it out to be. The Kyuubi is not a being of evil, you can trust me on that. Thanks Baldi, way to save the moment. You can always rely on him to reason with such things. Stutter was already starting to smile again and she even hugged Naruto. Don't worry Naruto-chan. I'm your friend. Damn right you are. Baldi cut in. Hinata-san, how about you show us what you're capable of? You must have trained in the gentle fist, show me what you can do. She looked down. I'm a failure, what? No you aren't, how can you even say that? How so Hinata-san? Father says that I'm a shame to the family. I'm bad at the gentle fist. How dare he say that, what a terrible father. Don't worry Hinata-chan, you're awesome Databanya. Let me be the judge of that, I may be able to find what you lack. Hi, attack me with all that you've got, try to destroy my Buddha's protection. Stutter charged him and used the gentle fist to attack. At first Baldi just dodged the strikes. Eventually he decided to see what effect it would have on his shield, but nobody expected what would happen. The palm went straight through as if it wasn't even there. Baldi looked at the palm that hit him in utter shock. I'm sorry. Stutter retreated and bowed. I didn't mean to. How did you hit him Hinata-chan? The shield should have stopped you. Indeed it should have, it's like the shield let her pass through, but that could only mean. Hinata-san don't apologize, you've done nothing wrong. In fact, I have something to ask of you. Baldi took out a small piece of paper that I could only recognize as chakra paper. I think he has the same idea as me. Put your chakra into this paper, there's something I have to find out. That won't work. Father made me do that once but it didn't react. I thought so. I've never seen Baldy with such an expression, but if she is what I believe she is, then it's to be expected. If it really is the case, then it's something I've only ever seen 4 times in my whole life. Hinata-san, I am going to teach you a jutsu. It's the same Buddha's protection that I just used. You are? But it took me months to learn that one. And it's a wonder you were able to do so, Naruto-chan. Monks spend their whole lives to learn that particular chakra type. You are only able to do so because of the 9 tails. Don't worry, Naruto-san, Hinata-san. I have utmost faith that you can learn this jutsu. I'll try. I will guide you by adding my own chakra as you perform the technique. He began explaining how to use the shield, and only 10 minutes later did she try to perform it for the first time. It went as expected. Golden chakra was released from Baldy's hands and flowed around Stutter, Buddha's protection. The shield appeared in a bright golden glow. Baldy could only look at it in shock and had a rare smile on his face. Amazing. I did it. Excitement lit up Stutter's face as she performed the technique on her very first try. She did it. She really did it. Databanya, Hinata-chan, you're the best. You have no idea, Naruto, she is special, extremely special. Baldy began to explain the root of the issue. I have something to explain to the both of you. Sit down. The two did as were told, and I sat down on Naruto's lap. First, I'll start with a simple question. Which types of chakra are there? Naruto couldn't contain herself, and Stutter wouldn't even try to answer with her lack of confidence. Wind, lightning, earth, water and fire. Baldy nodded. Indeed, those are the 5 most known types. But what if I were to tell you that there are in fact 8 chakra types? 8? Next to the 5 more known types there are 3 more. They are Sage Chakra, Dark Chakra and finally, Light Chakra. Sage Chakra comes in many forms. It is basically becoming one with a type of chakra. Let's say you are extremely adept with Wind Chakra. If you become one with it, then you would be able to become a Wind Sage. This type of chakra has a few flaws. Training in it has a high mortality rate, and gathering it when you've mastered it is extremely difficult. Dark Chakra is rare but still seen sometimes. Many don't realize that what they are seeing or using is Dark Chakra. This type of chakra is often used in jutsu that make you close to immortal, as well as it having a great decaying effect. This chakra is present more often than the final chakra because the shinobi world is filled with darkness. The final type is Light Chakra. This one is naturally seen once in every few centuries or even less, and by far the rarest type. Monks train their entire lives to be able to use this in the slightest, and most fail to do so. All of our techniques use Light Chakra, and one such example is Buddha's protection. It's just as he explained, but there is more to it than that. But that's for another time. Then why am I able to use your techniques? I don't have Light Chakra. That's where the issue lies, Naruto. Because of the 9-tailed cat, tailed cats are a force of nature and therefore contain all types of chakra. As for Hinata-san, here it is. You are born with it. You are one of those that have it naturally. Hinata-san, please become my apprentice. Baldy bowed before her. This stoic man that never shows emotion is bowing before Stutter. I can't. Father would never agree. I believe you will. Let me speak with him. Naruto-san, I will meet the 2 of you after school tomorrow. We will then proceed to the Hyuga estate. Hinata-san, don't speak of this to your father just yet. Wait for me to tell him. He wants us to come with them? But why? Meow. Tora-chan's right. Why do you need a sensei? Because I believe it will help convince him. He wants you and Hinata-san to bond, and this will help him in his goal. Let's end the training here. I will meet the 2 of you tomorrow after school. He walked away just like that, and I could understand his reason. Baldy had much to think about, as did I. The presence of one with Light Chakra is not to be taken lightly. Even at my full power, one with mastery of Light Chakra could pose a threat. Troublesome. Did we just totally forget about him being here? I get that he's easily overseen with his sleepy attitude, but still. Oh, Shikamaru-kun. You woke up from your nap? With all the ruckus you were creating, it would be a miracle even for me to stay asleep. You aren't going to ask about what just happened? Not even going to say something? That's so troublesome. No, I'm fine with it. Can we go home now? I don't want to incur Mother's wrath. She's that terrifying? You have no idea. Don't worry, Sleepy, I'm sure it'll be fine. You were with us after all. Smokey appeared right on cue. Hinata, I'll take you home. Shikamaru? I'm not going further than your gate. That bad, huh? Even Smokey is afraid of her. The next day, we entered the room of boredom, went to our seats and fell asleep. It had become a routine of sorts in such a quick time. We always came a bit early to enjoy the limited peace and quiet of the mornings. The bell rang and brats began entering the room. I forgot who most of them were as I simply had no interest in ones below my standard. Sadly, there were a few that I did remember, but not for their good qualities. Think of the Pink Banshee and the Prince of Emos, the latter which had sadly returned to class. He glared at us with a scowl but didn't dare say anything as he seemed to have learned we were far above him. The same went for the Banshee as she didn't screech anything in our direction. Sadly, that didn't mean she didn't screech into the Emo's direction. She was like a lost puppy that found its owner. He had no faults in her eyes. "Sasuke-kun, you're back. I missed you so much." Even the emo ignored her to the best of his abilities. How could she not see her faults? Troublesome. Meow. You can say that again. Good morning, Hinata-chan. Damn, I missed her sitting down next to us all because of that damn Banshee. Meow. Gee, good morning, Naruto-chan, Tora-chan. Meow. I pointed my paw to Sleepy and she seemed to have noticed he was there as well. And Shikamaru-kun. Naruto looked at her with pleading eyes, waiting for the morning snack to appear. Yet it took a bit too long. Hinata-chan, fish cookie? Stutter reached into her bag and held out her hand. Chomp and made the same mistake yet again. My hand. It's been so many times and she still hasn't learned not to keep them on her hand. That or she secretly likes having her hand chewed. Maybe Stutter isn't as innocent as she seems. She scratched Naruto behind her ear, which made her open her mouth from the excess bliss. It was one of the tactics she had learned and I have to admit it's effective. Taking a tissue from her bag, she proceeded to clean her hand. Are you alright, Hinata? You seem a bit on edge. Sleepy spoke on rare occasions but he always struck home. Only now did I notice that she seemed off somehow. I am scared for, you know. Meow. Telling your father. Naruto snapped out of her bliss. Don't worry, Hinata-chan, it'll be alright. Tora-chan is going to be there. Nothing can go wrong with her presence, Databanya. Damn right. In order to cheer her up, I went to her desk and offered myself for a petting session. I'm such a kind-hearted cat, aren't I? Thank you, Tora-chan. Class began and I went to sleep even though I kept feeling some gazes towards our location. I just thought they were from Emo and Banshee but didn't think more about it. How wrong I was. A few sleepy hours later and we went outside for physical education, which basically entailed butchering brats and enjoying their suffering. Only now did I notice the other terrifying source of stares I felt. It was the brat from yesterday, the one whose crotch I almost cut. Why is he looking at us? Does he want revenge? I'd gladly show him his position again. But no, he said nothing and I couldn't see any hatred in his eyes. What I saw was much worse. It was affection. Oh Kami, this brat was looking at Naruto with hearts in his eyes. Meow. What? You heard me. Meow. You've got to be kidding me, Tora-chan. No way, he doesn't. I pointed towards dog breath and Naruto shivered at the sight. You're right. The brat seems to have fallen in love with Naruto. Meow. Beating him will only make it worse. Tora-chan, what do we do? Oh Kami, no, you're on your own. Although, meow, you're blackmailing me? Ramen for crotch shots. I'll have to think about that. Do you really have an option? Creep. Who said that? Naruto stormed off to the Banshee. You still didn't learn your lesson, Pinky? You're a creep. You keep talking to your cat. So? You keep talking to your imaginary friend? Sensei, match, now. Ponytail sadly didn't comply. I'm sorry, Naruto, but there's been a change of plans for today per the Hokage's orders. The whole class quickly paid attention at the mention of the Hokage. Really, it's just an oldie with a weird hat. What's so special about that? Instead of taijutsu training, we're going to do a physical test. Anybody that doesn't pass has to follow remedial lessons in order to catch up to the standard. A few brats went pale and I could only grin. The Hokage has deemed the educational system flawed. At the moment you can pass to become a genin with only theoretical knowledge. That, however, ends now. But sensei, I don't want to become bulky and ugly like Forehead. What did you say, Eno pig? Quiet, you have no choice in the matter. Either you perform to our standards or you repeat the year until you're strong enough. I was beginning to like this test already. No way that the Banshee can pass. That and seeing her suffer, both are great. The first test is running around the track 20 times in 20 minutes, that sounds fair? But, sensei, the Banshee was suddenly a lot quieter. No buts, time starts now. Naruko stormed off and left all the other brats biting dust until she suddenly stopped. You coming, Hinata-chan? Hi. Stutter ran along with her and I decided to join them on this occasion. We adjusted our pace so Stutter could keep up. After the first lap we already passed over half of the class as we watched them struggle to keep up with our pace, some already gasping for breath. Pathetic. If these are going to be shinobi then they're going to die in the very first fight. We continued running for 10 laps and looked behind to see the emo keeping up with a smirk on his face. You're not going to beat me. I'm an elite. He tried to gain on us to show his supposed superiority. Oh, how wrong he was. I'm sorry, Hinata-chan, I'm going on ahead, okay? Hi. I was not going to join her. No way I would be able to keep up, not without getting my fur dirty. Emo was almost passing us. Naruko suddenly went into overdrive and used her real speed. She just disappeared and lapped us not even half a minute later. Emo looked at her with rage. How dare you? And was obviously humiliated. Only a few minutes later she stopped. Sensei, I'm done. I went up to them and decided enough was enough. Ponytail looked at her in shock, not believing the speed at which Naruko had just ran. I see. We sat down and watched in glee as the brats were struggling. Most of them were girls obviously on ridiculous diets all in order to please their prince of emos. Meow. I was thinking the same, Tora-chan. If only we don't end up in a team with one of them. Cammy, that would be horrendous. Not that the brat would survive for long, but still. Said emo was finally done with running and continued glaring at us as if we committed murder right before his eyes. Actually, I don't think that would even matter to him. He probably takes personal insults worse than a murder appearing before his eyes. Hinata-chan, you're done. After a couple more minutes Stutter sat down in exhaustion. She was the fourth to arrive and couldn't even utter a word. Sleepy was done at exactly 20 minutes and didn't seem all too tired. You're not tired, Shikamaru? That would be troublesome. I just did what was asked, no more or less. Typical Sleepy. Half of the class was too late. It took another 15 minutes before everybody was done. Cammy, they were awful. Big words but no bark. You all fail. Starting tomorrow you will be following remedial lessons in order to catch up for this part. You have 10 minutes of rest before we begin with the second test. There's more? Was the collective response of half the class. Pathetic? A short break later and we began with the second part. Next up are sit-ups and push-ups. You have to do 200 each. Every time you take a break you will have to do 10 more. What? Not going to join in on this one? Meow. No worries, Tora-chan. Ready, Hinata-chan? Hi. Groans of pain could be heard right off the bat. Naruko was done in a couple of minutes and Stutter took a while longer. The rest however took almost an hour to finish. Seriously, half of the brats took way too many breaks and had to do up to 400 of each exercise. Because some of you took so much time we will leave it at this for today. I expect those that failed to follow the remedial lessons from now on. Failure to do so means you aren't allowed to take the final exam. Go home and rest, we will continue tomorrow. Dismissed. Ponytail left. We're done, that means we're going to Stutter's home, right? Meow. Hinata-chan, we're going to your place now, right? Stutter looked down and was obviously extremely nervous judging by her face. Hi. Don't worry, it's going to be alright, Databanya. It's just as Naruko-san says, you're going to be fine, Hinata-san. Oh crap, that scared the hell out of me. Don't suddenly show up behind someone. Naruko's reaction was mostly the same except for one small thing. Well, the word small depends, but that depends on the guy's interpretation. They would say it's at least above average. Men. Her fright reaction was to kick at the thing that caused it. Baldy fell to the ground with his hands covering the now even less than average parts. Why? Don't scare me, Databanya. Who in Cammy shows up like that? Why, you do. Stutter is kind of right. This is right up your alley, Naruko. That's different. No, it isn't. You even use your camouflage jutsu to maximize the scare. Let's be on our way. The sooner we reach the Hyuga estate, the sooner we can resume your training. Needless to say, the pitch in his voice was a bit off though. He's talking as if he already knows what's going to happen. Interesting. Only minutes of casually running through the streets and we arrived at a massive estate with a large wall around it. I could already feel the arrogance and sense of superiority in the air. If a dog were to run into this estate, it would go mental with all the sticks it could find stuck up someone's butt. Halt. Who are you and why are you with Hinata-sama? Same as the one before, they really don't seem to know anything or anyone outside of their little world. I am Chiriku of the 12 Guardian Ninja serving the daimyo. I am here to speak on his behalf on a matter regarding Hinata-san. I wish to speak with Hiyashi-san. The white-eyed prick paled and quickly stepped aside. Please proceed. Hinata-san, please show us where your father is. Stutter replied with a nod and we went on our way. Along the way we could see stares of contempt from the few people that walked through the estate. It seemed that this part, which was apparently for the head family, had very few people except for the occasional servant. We stopped at a large door which had 2 guards with an equally stuck-up attitude. Halt! Oh come on, not this again. Let them in. Hi Hiyashi-sama. The doors opened and we saw the same familiar no-emotion white-eyed prick. Said prick arched a brow. Chiriku-san, what brings you here? I must say that this is unexpected. Hiyashi-san, I have something of utmost importance to tell you which is followed by a request. Very well, sit. He pointed his arm in front of him and we sat down. Let's get straight to business. What is it that you have to tell me? Time to drop the bomb. If he doesn't show emotion after hearing what's about to be said, then he's just a statue. I'm saying this knowing that you have knowledge of all of the chakra types, not just the 5 basic ones. You could already see the curiosity starting to form. Hinata-san has the light chakra type. There it was. The utter shock on his face, priceless. How certain are you of this? Absolutely certain. I see. He turned towards Stutter. Hinata, I am sorry for my actions thus far. It was now time for Stutter to become absolutely shocked. Father? I tried to train you in our art not knowing that it is absolutely incompatible with you. This is a failure on my part. Chiriku-san, thank you for notifying me of this. No problem Hiyashi-san. You must understand the request I have then? He nodded. You wish to train her. Only monks know how to train in light chakra. Before I agree I have to know how proficient you expect her to become. I will explain with how I found out. During the training session yesterday with Naruto-san I tried to test your daughter. She was to strike me when I had my Buddha's protection up. She did as told, only for her palm to go straight through my protection as if it didn't exist. I tried teaching her the technique and the results were more than I could ever expect. Hinata-san, show your father the technique. Stutter nodded. Buddha's protection. The golden glowing shield formed around her and the white-eyed prick gasped. That. It's as you see Hiyashi-san, it's perfect. It took her 1 hour to learn this. A prodigy monk will take 2 years to do so. Summon the elders, now. Sounds could be heard from around the room. Hinata, you are hereby no longer the future clan head. However, you will not get the caged bird seal. You will become the Hyuga representative to the daimyo and train with Chiriku-san in his art. One small suggestion Hiyashi-san. I wish to incorporate the gentle fist with her light chakra. I will need your help with this. But light chakras shouldn't work together with our gentle fist. You know as well as I do that those should be incompatible. That is true, but only if you want her to physically attack. But you know one of my techniques, imagine. Baldy couldn't finish his sentence as white-eyed prick opened his mouth in a gasp and interrupted. The 1,000-armed murder, you want to add the gentle fist to that? I do. Very well. I will assist in the training of Hinata. I will go to the palace in 2 days' time to discuss how we will proceed. Is that to your agreement? It is. Can I take Hinata-san to the palace for training or do you need her here? I will need her for the next hour. Afterwards you are free to take her with you. You may spend the time here or in my guest area. Come Hinata, we have much to arrange with the elders. Stutter looked at me and Naruto. Don't worry Hinata-chan, it'll be fine Databanya. We'll be right here for when you're done. Meow. Tora-chan would be willing to come with you though, if your father agrees. As if you would dare not to. You can take her Hinata, we can't delay this any further. Come. I jumped from Naruto's lap and followed Stutter. This was going to be interesting. We went through a couple of doors in utter silence before stopping at a final one. Hinata, I will discuss the issue with the elders. You will not say anything unless asked. This has to be handled carefully.
That's all for now. If you want to see next part, then please like this video and subscribe my channel. Thank you.